Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. 6th year, 166th day, first video, only video. A lot of sixes there. That could worry some people. And that black cat, well, Tux has got some weight on her. Anyway, this is going to strike you as bizarre, I suspect. Probably should. What to call this particular video? I thought, well, how about an update on my imagined movie Resurrection. I could call it that, Resurrection, the movie update. Yeah, I'll touch on that. Well, certainly I will. Maybe degrow us, degrow US. Those are the videos I've made devoted to this attempt to set up a conference to get people's attention in the United States to the need to degrow. I could go into that more. I certainly have, and that's tempting. Hydra in my head. I had a long series of videos about all these terms, all these names, all these books, these people, these ideas that have been for my whole life really swirling in my head. And there's more here. I thought, well, I can call it that, or maybe cartooning. Maybe I could deal with cartooning. Well, what is it that's so different about what you're about to see? Well, let me start with the cartooning business, or put it together with Degrow Us. My role in that small group that's planning that conference is to, as it is now, is to try to demonstrate the power that the arts can have toward this effort. As I keep arguing again and again, science has done what they could. They've shown the dilemma. They show that it gets worse. More scientific papers, more data. There's very little reason to think it's going to make much of a difference. And I keep saying that it's the arts have to step up to really change the culture, change the world. I say that again and again. Well, anyway, in that quest, when I found out about this book, Hypercapitalism, I don't care too much for the cover. Incidentally, I'm holding the cat because if I put the cat down, it'll probably attack my camera. Don't particularly like the cover that much, but the thing is, this book, which the first part presents, come on cat, don't do that, presents very clearly the dilemma, the great problem that has arisen because of capitalism gone out of control. And the second part deals with what can be done. This is really a very good book. It's not that expensive, but I show it to you now to show you that it's been done. I hope you can see this. It's been done as kind of a cartoon. Well, as a cartoon, but or like a comic book with words, with both, and I liked it. Larry Gonick is the artist. Tim Kasser wrote the words, and together they've come up with that. Well, that opened my mind up actually to the possibility of cartooning, what that could do to help this whole cause. And now let me go back to Resurrection, the movie. This imaginary movie that I've come up with, 2 years ago, maybe more, and it's on my channel as a really long playlist. I think with this it's going to be 29 videos devoted to this imaginary movie. And go to it if you're patient enough. Well, the first video is probably the worst of them all, but that would be the place to start. Well, anyway, in this movie, casting was a problem. Not a problem, but I mean, I imagined how would I cast such a movie, and I worked with there's really a total of about 7 or 8, maybe 9 characters, and that's really kind of it. And if you want to know more about the movie, the thing to do would be go there. I can't. I don't know if I can say it in a nutshell. But a development had been that I realized that actually a storyboard, if it were well enough done, could be the final product. If it were well enough illustrated. But I know what I need to say is the movie is wordless. There's no words in it. That is critical. Because by having it wordless, not in English, not in Korean, not in Japanese or French or German or Portuguese, Spanish, No, no words at all. And so you would follow the movie. Anybody in the world could follow the movie by simply what they saw. Uh, uh, anyway, I've discussed that in great detail. But in any case, well, let me also say that I actually unashamedly have approached various artists that I knew that do have the ability, God given, to draw. I don't have it. If I did, I'd probably be working on this, but I don't have that. And I've approached some, and I approached Larry Gonick, actually, as I say, unashamedly. But he obviously has the skill, and apparently the devotion to the cause as well. Although, as I say, the words are Tim Kasser's, whom I've also approached. I'm really unashamed about this. Anyway, on to this casting. Well, having these 8 or 9 characters, I tried to cast it with diversity for various reasons. I mean, I tried to cover, there's old, there's young, there's a married couple, there's possibly a lesbian, possibly a gay, there's a black, but by the end there's Muslims. I realized that actually there wasn't anybody that was Oriental in my casting of these 8 or 9. I realized about that. But as I did this imaginary casting, I was having trouble with this couple that arrived toward the end, or not toward the end of the beginning, toward the end of Act 1. They arrive with a cow cart. It's having come from a permaculture community. There's not time to explain it really, but they arrive. The man, in my imagination, was sort of Viking-like. He didn't have to be terribly powerful, man. That's the black guy, the blacksmith, but Festus. But this guy would be a woodworker. An axe is his special weapon, tool, whatever. Wood is his domain. And the woman with him is to represent sort of the earth itself. These characters have leitmotifs. She is, you might say, like Mother Earth in a way. They're a couple, and she raises animals. I just, it's hard to do this without you knowing what's going on in the movie. But in any case, and when she arrives, she is not feeling well at all. It turns out she's pregnant. And they arrive, they're actually in some desperation in the middle of a storm when they arrive, etc. But anyway, I could not, I thought, well, there's lots of possibilities of couples that could do that. But then it dawned on me, the word dementia comes to mind. At my age, dementia's there, I'm sure, waiting for me. But how about a famous couple like Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Boy, they're in, now I'm talking cartooning. And as I understand it, a good cartoonist can do caricatures. And so you'd recognize who they were. I think that's legal. I think it is. It must be. So yeah, that would work. And I get thinking about their wedding. Not just their fame and that dazzling display of wealth and power, but their preacher as well. His name is Michael Curry. He's recognizable, and his message was powerful. I mean, there's no doubt about it. His message was powerful, and all these rich, powerful, white Anglo-Saxon people, with a couple exceptions, were listening to this, and I thought, I could imagine casting him too. I've got a comic character in their batch. At the moment, I imagine him as a friend of mine who's a really big, but sort of jolly, not muscular, super strong, but sort of big, jolly black man. I thought, he's a cook. Anyway, I thought, all right, you cast him in there as well. And then I got thinking, this really does get close to bizarre here. But I was thinking, I don't really have anybody who's in any way Oriental in my casting. Who's some famous, what character I have available, and some recognizable Oriental woman. This woman is Anna is what her leitmotif is is water, and there's more to say about her, and she kind of arrives alone, and then I suddenly thought, there is a recognizable, even though the West has seen very little of her, there is a recognizable Oriental woman. You probably don't know who Kim Yo-jung is. You probably not. But if I tell you this is Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Jong-un's sister, then you probably do know. You saw very little of her, but she's recognizable. And I know very little about her too, except that I liked the way she walked, and I found her dignified, and I thought, aha, put her in there. And then, you know, if that isn't bizarre enough, you know, remember, as cartooning, I think this could be done. And as I say, I have no idea about the legality of it, or even the danger of it. But I think it could be done. Within the story, there's a certain point where this cast of characters have these vast gardens, and they're completely overwhelmed by the work that they have to do. Apprentices come to the rescue, actually, and they do get help. But another thing that could help a lot is if they would use a technique which I have come to call extreme mulching. They've got all these gardens, they can't weed them. What are they going to do? And something that I've found that I can do is if you lay something opaque down on the ground, it can be almost anything, lay it opaque on the ground, it will do your weed control or whatever. And so I thought, aha, extreme mulching. And they go at one point, the characters go down, or maybe more than once, they go down to a feira, a weekly feira. This is set in Portugal. And there, they could, if they could get a supply of opaque plastic, that would work. And where would they do this? Now, I've actually done this. I found that I have a very big supply of opaque plastic because I dumpster dove. I went to the local lumber yard, and they package their lumber that they ship across a continent. That's a whole other story. But anyway, they package it in opaque plastic and then throw that all in the dumpster. So you can imagine it was just full of all this. I've also used old carpets. I mean, nasty. But anyway, I could imagine that that character, would teach them that there they could get what they needed to save their gardens. So what have I got here? I've got this character teaching the royal couple how to dumpster dive, and you know, dementia. You see what I mean? And then I got thinking, you know, if I'm talking about all these famous people that talk, I want to say talk pretty or talk devoted to the cause, Pope Francis. He certainly seems to sympathize with the poor, and he seems to know what's happening, what humans are doing to the planet. She is associated with one of the poorest countries, apparently, on Earth, but one that when the image is taken from space and you see the whole globe lit up like a flashbulb because of all the energy, you get to North Korea and it's dark. That's the moral way to be at night. But anyway, Pope Francis, how to get him in there? Why not? You know, I don't know. He could a cameo appearance. He could own the lumber yard and give him permission to dumpster dive. Bizarre, I know, but maybe bizarreness will get your attention. All right, I'm sort of glad this video's over. Bye for now.